My son's name was Roger Lance Green. And Lance, he had just turned 18, very good young man. It was on a Friday afternoon he came to me and he wanted to borrow my truck. He was going to visit some friends of his in another town, so I loaned him my truck. Midnight came as there's curfew and he didn't show up. Me and my wife got worried. We called local hospitals, local law enforcement to see if somebody had him, and they didn't. So by 2 o'clock that morning, I went and looked for him, and I found him. He had run my truck off the side of the mountain where we lived and killed him. When I got the medical reports from the medical examiner on Lance, they told me that he died with blunt force trauma to the back of the head. He hemorrhaged to death in the truck wreck. But they also said when they pulled blood on him, they found alcohol. That even devastated me more because Lance didn't drink. I contacted the young man that Lance was with that evening and that night. And I don't know why Lance decided to do this. He took it to the grave with him. But he decided to try alcohol. The young man said he'd drank 1 six-pack of beer that afternoon and that night. He started home. He gave himself enough time to get home before his curfew was up. He got 9 miles from my house, and he lost control of the truck and he wrecked it. He ran it off the side of the mountain, and this truck killed him. When we had his funeral, we had to have a closed casket funeral. And it was so heartbreaking. The pain was so great. I can't explain how the pain hurt, but it's in your heart and in your soul. But with time, we went to start getting some better. We have an older daughter. My wife and I focused on her more, got more involved with her activities, and I thought it would never get any worse, the tragedy in our home. But I was wrong. 2.5 years later, after we buried Lance, my daughter was killed in a car crash. Her designated driver killed her. Amanda and this other young lady went across the mountain to another town to visit some friends, and they was going to have a party that night. Came by my house on a Saturday evening and told me what she was going to do. And she had a place to stay and she had a designated driver. And you know, we're still brokenhearted about Lance. So I didn't want her to go, but I couldn't stop her. Amanda was 22. So I told her how much I loved her and she left. 10 minutes after 2 that morning, our phone rang. It was emergency room at a hospital. Said our daughter had been in an accident and we need to come over there. So me and my wife got dressed and got to the hospital as fast as we could, but it was too late. Amanda was already dead. The rest of the kids got out of the car without a scratch. When I got Amanda's medical records, seeing this car, when she lost control of it, it turned around the middle of the street and was going backwards. It traveled 380 feet and impacted a highline pole right square in the back of the car. And it cut through the car right up to the console where my daughter was sitting. A few days later, we had another funeral. You know, this is all about alcohol and drinking and driving. Alcohol took my children away from me. And alcohol made sure that I would never get to be a grandpa. I think the young people need to try and help take care of each other when they're out. If someone's going to drink, some needs to stay sober enough to drive them home or call their parents. You know, I don't know of a parent that wouldn't get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and drive across town and pick their child up if they're drunk to get them home safe. Sure, the next day you may be grounded, but the parent don't have to go to the morgue and identify your body.